In Matthew 28, Jesus ascends and leaves his disciples to fulfill the Great Commission. In Acts chapter 1, the promised Holy Spirit comes, ushering in a new era of ministry. Now, at the time, Christianity was very narrow. It was only Jews in Israel, but by Acts chapter 10, we see the first Gentile, non-Jewish convert, Cornelius and his household. And in Acts 15, the church meets together to figure out, can God do that? Can he save a Gentile? And Peter stands up and says, yes, he can, and I was there. Shortly after that, Paul and Barnabas split up and leads a humongous missionary journey that brings us to today. In 42 AD, Mark goes to Egypt. 49 AD, Paul heads to Turkey. 51 AD, Paul heads to Greece. 52 AD, the Apostle Thomas heads to India. And by 350 AD, 53% of the Roman Empire, that's 31.7 million people, confessed Christ as Lord. 596 AD, Gregory the Great and Augustine go to England, and they see 10,000 converts that first year. 635 AD, the first Christian missionaries are reported in China. By 900 AD, there are missionaries reported in Norway. And by 1200 AD, the Bible is available in over 22 different languages. And 1620 AD, first pilgrims arrive at Plymouth Rock seeking religious liberty. 1638, the first church in the United States is planted. It was known as the Meeting House and was founded by Roger Williams in Providence, Rhode Island. In 1734, we see the beginnings of the Great Awakening, a huge religious revival spearheaded by Jonathan Edwards and George Whitefield. In 1769, the very first mission along the El Camino Real Trail was opened in San Diego. And in 1772, the fifth mission, known as the San Luis Obispo Mission, was founded. 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed. In 1906, we experienced the Azusa Street Revival, which sparked the beginning of the Pentecostal movement and the creation of the Assemblies of God denomination. In 1913, Edward Gardner Lewis, a magazine publisher, founded a new colony in the central coast of California, and he called it Atascadero. In 1945, Pastor Frank and Marjorie Sheeman obtained land at Curberale and El Camino, right in the path of the El Camino Real Mission Trail. They built a church, and they called it Church of God Assembly, or just Pentecostal. On May 10th, 1970, under the leadership of Pastor Howard Graves, Assembly of God Church broke ground and began building a new church in their brand new location at 5545 Ardea Avenue in Atascadero. On August 23rd, 1987, Pastor Rick and Phyllis Comstock took over as lead pastor of Atascadero First Assembly. On August 28th, 2016, Pastor Rick and Phyllis Comstock celebrated their last Sunday with us as lead pastor and transitioned the church over to some guy, his beautiful wife Kristen, and their 3 rambunctious kids. And that leads us to today. 75 years of legacy, 75 years of God's faithfulness as we transition into becoming Legacy Church. So I hope today, wherever you are at, you are filled with hope and expectation. Jesus' promise still rings true. He will build his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. 75 years of legacy, and now it's our turn. Imagine what God is going to do in our generation through us.